Assalamualaikum, can you hear me? Ashraf, boleh dengar tak?
Ya, boleh.
Yes, we
Boleh,
can.
Doktor.
Okay,
Yeah, you are.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, I hope everything is good, yeah. Okay, so today I will continue my lecture. Alright, so I just share in the WhatsApp group. So for today's topic, I will be discussing with you on what we call it, the stock valuation, yeah. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, let me do the recording. Okay, it's already recorded. All right. Okay. Now, okay, for today's topic, basically we are going to discuss on a topic called stock valuation. Stock valuation. Okay, now stock valuation means we are going to discuss on how to value stock. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, let's say for example, we as the shareholders, right? Now we want to know how much is the worth of our investment. So the stocks are listed in the stock market, right? So now in this topic, basically we are going to understand, what is actually the way, uh, you know, uh, the way to value stocks that traded in the stock market. Understand? In the stock market. Okay, so this topic is about stock valuation. So this stock valuation is a very popular topic under financial management, under corporate finance, and also under investment analysis, right? Now, basically, when we talk about stock valuation, there are two models that I will be discussing with you today. Two models. Number one is called the dividend discount model. So this is one model that we can use to value stock, right? Okay, this is one model that we can use to value stock. So there are many models actually. So for today's discussion, I will just concentrate on two models. Number one is called dividend discount model. So this is a model to value stock. To value stocks means to determine what is actually the price, what is actually the theoretical price of the stocks listed in the stock market. Okay, dividend discount model. And the second model is called that is basically the model, right? This model is a model to value stock. So under this model, there are two assumptions. Number one, it is based on an assumption where the company is going to grow constant perpetual. Okay, so this is the first assumption. So that means under the model, we have two assumptions. Number one is this one, which is assumed that the company is going to grow perpetual. That's number one. Number two, we are referring to another assumption whereby, okay, the assumption is, okay, now the assumption is, okay, let me show you here. Okay, the company is going to grow, but the growth is not constant. The growth is not constant. So there are two assumptions under this model. Number one, the company is expected to grow constantly, and number two, the company is expected to grow non-constant. Right? So maybe I can show you using Microsoft Words. Okay, now I'm sharing my Microsoft Words. So under this topic of company valuation, okay, we are going to learn on a model called dividend. So the model is called dividend discount model. Okay, so this is the model to be used to value stocks. Value stocks mean how much is the price that we can expect on the stocks. Okay, this is the model. So in this model, what I plan to share with you today is, for this model, there are two assumptions. Okay, number one is called constant growth. Okay, it is called constant growth. Okay, constant growth means the company is expected to grow constant, or is expected to grow at the same rate perpetual. Okay, this is what it means. Okay, and the second assumption for this model is the company is going to grow, but the growth rate is non-constant. Non-constant. Okay, non-constant. That means the company will grow at certain rate for a few years. Then after that, the company will grow at certain rate. Okay, at certain rate. So there are two rate of growth. Number one is going to grow at certain rate. Then after that, it's going to grow at another rate. So we are going to cover these two. But the issue here is dividend discount model. Okay, now when we talk about this dividend discount model, if you look at the name of the model, it talks about dividend. So that means the company that we are going to analyze based on this model, the company must pay dividend. Understand? The company must pay dividend. So if a company doesn't pay dividend, we cannot use this model. Okay, is there any company that doesn't pay dividend? Yes, for example, Microsoft. Microsoft, they don't pay dividend to their shareholders. So if they don't pay dividend to their shareholders, how do they provide return to their shareholders? They provide return to their shareholders based on the increase in the share price. Okay, so we are basically focusing on how to analyze a company based on this model. So the condition is the company must pay dividend. That's why it's called dividend discount model. Okay, so that's the condition. So if a company doesn't pay dividend, we cannot value it because this model applies only for company that pay dividend. Right? Yeah. Okay, so you can refer to these notes. You can refer to these notes, but inshallah tonight I'll just want to make it simple. But my reference is actually based on these notes. Right? Okay, so this is the model. Then after that, we are going to discuss based on the first assumption. Then after that, we are going to discuss based on the second assumption, which is this one. Yeah, which is this one. Okay, non-constant growth. Right, yeah? Okay, now before I move on, okay, if you look at these notes, yeah. Okay, if you look at this note, now this is the model, this is the first model, which is based on, this is the model which is based on the company is going to grow constant. Constant means we are talking about certain rate that the company is going to grow forever the same. That's what it means constant, right? Now, this formula, this model is very simple, right? If you look at this model, this is actually the formula for this model. P0 is equivalent to this. This is the formula, yeah. Okay, this is the formula. Okay, now let me write this formula. So the formula is like this. It's a very simple formula. Okay, it's very simple formula. It's like this, yeah. P0 is equivalent to, okay, D1 divided by K minus G. So this is the formula for dividend discount model. Right? This is the formula for dividend discount model. So if you look at these notes, right? See the bottom here, P0 is D1 K minus G. And then you can see here, there is an assumption here. Okay. Now what does it mean? P0 means this is the price that you estimate. This is the price that we estimate, right? Okay, so this is the price that we estimate. So we want to estimate the price. But we know that there are two prices. There are two prices. Number one, prices, the actual price in the stock market. That is the actual prices in the stock market. Number two, this is the price that we estimate. So there are two prices. One is the prices in the stock market, which is the actual price. But this one is actually the price that we estimate. So there are two prices. Number one, price in the stock market. Number two, price that we estimate. So P0 is the price that we estimate. Why P0? Because in finance, zero means now. Zero means now. Okay. So we want to estimate the price of the stock now, today. So to estimate the stock price today, we need to have D1. That's why it's called dividend discount model, because we need to have dividend. So D1. D1 means dividend next year. Okay, you want to estimate the price now, but you need to have a dividend next year. Understand? Right? Then you have G. What is G? G is the growth. Remember just now I said that this model is based on dividend discount model. Dividend discount model. So in order for us to estimate the price of the stock today, you need to have dividend of the stock, but not now, next year. You estimate. Estimate means it doesn't happen yet. You estimate the dividend, right? And at the same time, you need to have growth. What is growth? Okay, I will explain to you later, but this is basically the growth rate of the company. Okay, so you need this variable, and then you need this variable. Another one, you need this variable also, K. So what is K? K stands for required rate of return. Required rate of return on the stock. Okay, K refers to required rate of return on the stock. That means you are the shareholders, right? So when you purchase the stock, you need to have return, right? So the return here basically refers to the required rate of return on the stock that you want. Okay, how much return that you want? So that is K. Okay, so if you look at these notes again, all right, if you look at this note again, so these notes, you can see the formula here. This is the formula that I showed you just now, right? This is the formula, but you don't have the dividend. You don't have the dividend next year, okay? But although you don't have the dividend next year, so D1, you can estimate D1, okay? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to explain further, because P0 means the price that you estimate now. You want to estimate the price now, but you need to have dividend next year. Okay, how are you going to have a dividend next year? Because you are now. Now means this year, currently. But in this model, they say that you need to have D1. D1 is next year, but you are now, right? How can you expect next year? So you can further break this down. You can further break this D1. You can further break this D1. D1, you can determine D1 based on dividend now, meaning dividend already announced by the company. D0 means dividend already announced by the company. 1 plus G. Okay, so this is how you estimate D1. That means, although you are now present, but you can actually estimate D1, because D1 can be estimated based on this. Right? Okay, so you can have D1 because D1 already paid. D1 means the dividend already paid by the company. And then you can also estimate G. G is the growth rate. Okay, G is the growth rate. So the G here and the G here is the same. Okay, so what I will do now, based on this formula, I'm going to explain to you like this. So we want to estimate the stock price, right? And then the formula is D1 K minus G. right? So this D1 is also equal to D0 1 plus G. Okay, so this is how you estimate D1. That means if you want to have D1 dividend next year, you must have D0. D0 is the dividend already paid by the company, meaning dividend D0 is the dividend now already paid. And then you need to have G. All right, you need to have G. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to get D0 and how to get G. Okay, how to get D0 and how to get G. But I just want to make simple on this one. The required rate of return. Required rate of return, I'm not going to make it complicated based on this online lecture because it's easier to explain when we meet face to face. But today, I'm going to explain to you D0 and G because you need to have these two components. And then I will also briefly explain this K. Right? Okay, now how to get D0, okay, I will show you later. Okay, and how to get G. G is the growth rate. Okay, now before I go to D0, I'm going to explain to you G. What is G? Okay, let's take a look at this textbook. Now, in this textbook, okay, now you have in this page called sustainable growth rate. So what is sustainable growth rate? That is G. Okay, the G that we're talking about today is actually this sustainable growth rate. So what is a sustainable growth rate? The G in the formula. Sustainable growth rate is the dividend growth rate that can be sustained by a company's earning. Okay, so what is G? G, what is the growth rate? The growth rate in this topic refers to sustainable growth rate, sustainability. So what is sustainable growth rate? It's a dividend growth rate that can be sustained by a company's earning. That means, okay, the objective of the company is to make profit, right? So when the company makes profit, so what is the purpose of the profit? They will pay to the shareholders, right? Okay, so they will pay to the shareholders in what form? In the form of dividend. So sustainable growth rate here basically refers to the dividend payment of the company that can be sustained by the company based on its profit or based on its earning. That is the G that we are talking about, right? So the G can be computed using this formula. G, or the sustainable growth rate, is ROE multiplied by retention ratio. Okay, and ROE, or return on equity, is net income over equity. Okay, net income over equity. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you step by step all this. All right. Okay, now let's take a look at this formula. Okay, let's take a look at this formula. Yeah. Okay, we are going to do this one, right? Okay, we are going to use this one. We want to estimate the price of the stock is equivalent to D1 K minus G. This is what we want to do. Okay, to do this, we must have dividend, right? Dividend paid by the company. 1 plus G. Okay. Okay. So, step number one, where to get this? Okay. Now, I'm going to give you one example. All right. The example that I want to use today is actually based on a company called Ajinomoto. Okay. Based on a company called Ajinomoto. Okay. Let me see this one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, where to get this G? Where to get this dividend? Where to get this dividend? Because we want to apply this formula, right? So where to get this dividend? Okay, for this company of Ajinomoto, okay, for this company of Ajinomoto, where can we get the dividend? Okay, to get the dividend, you need to go to the annual report of the company. Let's say this is the annual report for 2021. We need to refer to the report of the company. Now, in the company's annual report, okay, we have covered before, right? So we have a few statement. Number one is statement of comprehensive income. Okay. In this statement of comprehensive income, as you know, it talks about the revenue, expenses of the company. Then after that, you have the net profit, right? Net profit, or profit net of tax. Okay. Then after that, you also have financial position. Okay, this is where the report will state what are the assets and liabilities that the company have, right? Now, you will not have the dividend in these two statements. You will not have the dividend in these two statements. Okay, the first one, you don't have the dividend. The second one also, you will not have the dividend. Okay, but you will only have the dividend in a statement called cash flow, right? Right. So for this topic, you need to refer to cash flow, statement of cash flow. Now, in this statement of cash flow, then you need to refer to, okay, in this statement of cash flow of the company, right? There are a few parts. Number one, they call cash flow from operating. Okay. Number two, cash flow from investment. Okay. So cash flow from operating and cash flow from investment, both here you will not get the dividend, but you will only have the dividend in this cash flow from financing, right? Okay, so remember, if you want to get the dividend amount, you can get it from the cash flow. But in the cash flow, there are three segments. Number one is called cash flow operating, and then cash flow investing, and then after that, cash flow financing. So you can only have the dividend in the cash flow financing. Now, if you refer to the cash flow financing, then you will have dividend paid. So this is the dividend paid by the company to its shareholders. So as you can see here, 2021 and 2020, for year 2020, the company paid dividend amounting to 28 million to their shareholders. And then in 2021, the company paid higher dividend, which is 29 million plus to its shareholders. So this is the number that you need. Okay. This is the number that you need. So I can have this number. So based on this formula, okay, now I have this number. So this is my dividend. Right. So this is my dividend. Okay. This is my dividend. So the dividend for this company is 29 million for 2021. Okay, we are analyzing 2021 financial statement. Yeah. Okay, so that means if you look at this formula, okay, what we have gathered is this information. So we done on this one, which is this. Now the second one is in this formula, we are not talking about DO. We're not talking about past dividend. We are talking about expected dividend. So we need to have G. Okay, we need to have G. Only then we can have D1. Because what we have here is D0. This is D0, right? So to transform this to become D1, so we need to have, right? We need now, meaning we need to have D1, right? Not D0. So we need to have D0, or already have D0. Then we need to have G. Okay, so what is G? G is the growth rate, but in this topic, the G is the sustainable growth rate. Remember, I explained to you what is sustainable growth rate. That is the dividend growth rate that can be sustained by the company based on its earning. So therefore, we need to have G in order to estimate D1. So based on this textbook here, as you can see, sustainable growth rate, or the G, can be determined based on this. Okay, based on this. SGR, or growth rate, is ROE, okay, multiply by ROE multiply by retention ratio. ROE multiplied by retention ratio. Okay. Now, if you look at in this textbook, also it says that ROE is net income over total equity. So you can have here ROE is net income over total equity. Okay. And then this retention ratio is, okay, 1 minus payout ratio. Okay, 1 minus payout ratio. Okay, this one I will explain to you later, yeah. Okay, payout ratio. Okay, now let me explain to you. Let me explain to you this one first. ROE. Okay, you can have ROE from net income over total equity. Okay, now where to get net income? Then you have to refer back to your statement here. Okay, so in your statement here, basically, net income means that is in the income side, right? So the net income is here. Net income is net profit. So that means you need to have the net profit. So where is the net profit? This one, right? So this is your net profit. That means this company, the net profit is 46 million plus. So you can have this. Okay, you can have this. So this is the number. Okay, this is the number. Okay, 46 plus, which is the net income, right? But you need to divide this net income. You need to divide this net income with total equity. Okay, total equity. So let's see where is the total equity. So you need to refer to the statement of financial position. Okay, then you can see here total equity. See that? See this one, huh? Total equity. Okay, so you need to have this number, total equity. Right? Total equity. So based on this, I already have, okay, I already have net income. That means I already have net income. Okay, so this is my net income, right? Net income. And then I have total equity. So this is my total equity. Now from here, how much is my return on equity? So I'm going to open an Excel. Okay. Now let me compute the number here. Right. Okay, so 46 million is the net income. 46 million is the net income, right? This is net income. Okay, and then after that, I have total equity. Total equity. Okay, so net income over total equity. Right. So net income over total equity is, I divide this. So I got this number. Okay. Plus this one divided by this number. Okay, so that means, so this is my ROE, right? So my ROE is equivalent to, my ROE is equivalent to 0.09. Okay, but then because it talks about return, right? It talks about return. So actually, when you describe it, you need to multiply with 100. Okay, that means this company, its return on equity is 9.08%. This is in percent. Okay, all right. This is in percent. But when you want to do the computation, you will just remain this number as it is. Do not convert it to percent. But when you talk about ROE, actually you will describe it as 9.08%. So how much is the return on your equity? 9.08%. But because we want to do computation, so we will stick to this number, the number which is not in percentage yet. Right? So I have done this one. That means I have done on ROE, right? Okay. Now the next one is I need to have this retention ratio. Okay. And the retention ratio says that the formula is 1 minus payout ratio. Okay. Now let me explain to you what does this means. Because what you need to have is actually a retention ratio. Okay. I will explain to you what does this retention ratio means. Okay. Now let me show you this Excel. Now you have this net profit, right? Net profit or net income is the same. Okay, you already have net income or net profit, right? So when the company generates net profit, what do they do with the profit? Because the profit already net. Net means they already paid the expenses, they already paid tax, they already paid zakat. So that is the net income, right? So this net income is actually who belongs this net income, who owns this net income. Shareholders owns the net income, right? So shareholders are entitled to net income, and you know the shareholders, what is their entitlement? Their entitlement is actually dividend. So net income minus dividend, okay? Because the dividend is what is entitled by the shareholders, right? So net income minus dividend, that means less dividend. So you have a balance, right? So this balance is net income minus dividend. You have a balance, right? This balance is called retained earnings. Understand? Retained earnings. Okay. So what is retained earnings? Retained earning is the balance after the company paid dividend to shareholders from its net income. Okay. So you already have the net income, right? How much is the net income? This one, right? Okay. Now you already have the dividend, right? So how much is the dividend? So we have computed the dividend just now. Where is the dividend? So the dividend we have computed. This is the amount, right? But this is the dividend amount, right? Okay. We have taken from the cash flow, right? So this is the dividend. Okay. So when you minus net income from dividend, okay, net income you minus dividend, right? Okay, you have this number, right? You have this number, right? Okay. This is called retained earning. Okay. So this is the amount. This is the amount that going to be retained by the company. Meaning the company doesn't pay all of this net income to shareholders. Okay, they pay certain amount as a dividend to shareholders, and the remaining of it they retain. The remaining of it they retain. Why do they retain? Because they want to they want to use it for expansion. They want to do it for further project and so on. So they retain the net profit. Okay. Now, when you look at this formula, okay, when you look at this formula, the formula says retention ratio, right? Retention ratio. That means what happened here is we want to know how much is the ratio that the company retain from its net profit. So how much? That means you need to divide this number with this number, right? Okay. All right. So you have this number, right? That means the company retain 36% out of its net income, right? So how much is being paid to the dividend? That means they pay how much? They pay to their shareholders 64%. How much they retain? 36%. Okay. So that's why if you look at this formula in this textbook, okay, it says retention ratio. So what is retention ratio? Retention ratio is this one. This is the retention ratio. All right. So retention ratio is also the same as 1 minus payout ratio. So I've shown you here, right? in order for you to get this number, 1 minus this number, 1 minus this number, this is 64%. That is the dividend payout. Okay, so that means what we are interested based on this formula is retention ratio. So that means we already have ROE. So how much is ROE in this case? ROE is how much just now? Yeah, this number, right? 0.0908. So our ROE is 0.0908. Okay, so that is our number, right? And how much is our retention ratio? 0.36. Okay, so our retention ratio is 0.36. Okay, so if you multiply this number, which is return on equity, multiply with retention ratio, then you will get a number. That number is called the sustainable growth rate, which is the G. Okay, so let me compute this. Okay, I'm going to compute this number with this number, right? Okay, then I have this. Okay, I have this. So that means this company, okay, is going to grow at 3.22% constant. It's going to grow at 3.2% constant. All right. Okay, so that means we already determined G. So if you look at the formula here again, okay, this is the formula, right? Where is the formula? So this is the formula, right? So that means you know D1 already. Okay, you know D1 already, and you know G. Okay, so P0 is D0. Okay, so how much is the D0? 1 plus G divided by K minus G. D0 is the dividend. Okay, D0 is a dividend, right? But here, the dividend is not this number. This is the number that I show you just now, right? Where's the number? This one, right? This is the number, right? But actually, if you want to use this formula, this D0 is dividend per share. Understand? Not dividend, dividend per share. Okay, so now we already have G, right? We already have G. So how much is G just now? Okay, when we computed G is 3.2%, right? Okay, so we have D0 1 plus 3.2%, right? So 0.032, right? So this is our G. And then we have K minus 0.032. Okay, right. So now we want to have D0. Okay, D0 is dividend, but not dividend that we have computed just now, which is not dividend as in this annual report, not dividend as in this cash flow, right? Okay, where is it just now? Not this one, this is the dividend, right? So this dividend is total dividend, but the formula wants dividend per share. D0 is dividend per share. So you need to have total dividend divided by number of shares. Okay, number of shares. Right? Number of shares. Okay. Okay, now where is total dividend? Okay, total dividend is this one, right? 29,937,3677. So, wait, okay. Okay, 29. Okay, so this is our number just now, right? How much is that? 29973,677. 29973,677, right? So this is the total dividend. 29973,677. 29977. Okay, so that is the total dividend, right? But we want to have dividend per share. So what we need to do now, we need to divide this with number of shares. So to have number of shares, okay, to have number of shares, that means you need to refer to the annual report, right? You need to refer to annual report. Now, let's have a look at annual report. You know where to get that number, right? You need to refer to annual report in the last part of the, in the last part of the, can someone off the handphone, please? Oh, okay. Now, this is the last part here. See that? This is statistics of shareholding. Okay. In the statistics of shareholding, you can have number of shares. So in this case, you can see here, right? Number of shares held. Okay, number of shares held, which is this one. See that? Okay, yeah. So that means the company has issued how many shares to its shareholders? 60 million plus. So this is the number that we need to divide. This is the number that we need to divide with our total dividend. Understand, yeah? Okay, so I'm going to take this number. I'm going to take this number. I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to divide my dividend. Where is my dividend? This is my dividend, right? So I'm going to divide my dividend, okay, with total shares. Okay, so when I divide this, okay, then I have this one. So that means in terms of dividend of the company has paid 49.3 cents dividend. Okay, so, okay, that means I already have this formula, this DO, right? Then I can explain further. Okay, how much is my dividend per share? 49.3, right? So 0.493. Okay, that is the past dividend, eh? Multiply by 1.032, right? Okay. Divided by K minus 0.032. Okay, so this is the formula, right? Okay, that means you know this component, you know this component, right? The one that you do not know is this component. And as I explained just now, this component is called required rate of return. But for today's discussion, I just want to explain to you that let's assume, okay, let's assume that K in this example, is, okay, let's assume that K in this example is 5%. Okay, 5%. Just assume, okay, when we meet, I will explain to you how to get K. But today, I just assume 5%. That means you are going to be like this, right? 0.493, 1.032 divided by 0.05 minus 0.032. Okay. All right. So this is based on assumption. Okay. But this one, we got it from computation. We got it from computation. For this today's discussion, this is just assumption. But when we meet face to face, I will explain to you how to get K. Okay. So based on this computation, you can actually determine the PO already. Okay. Now let's see how much is the PO. Okay, based on this number, let's see how much is the PO. Okay, let's see. Ashraf, can you compute for us how much is the PO, Ashraf? Ashraf, dengar tak?
Ya,
Ashraf?
doktor.
Okay,
Yep.
Ashraf, kirakan untuk kita berapa? How much is the PO based on this computation, Ashraf?
Okay.
Ini Ashraf dapat berapa? How much ya?
0.5.
Yang ini how much Ashraf dapat berapa? How much is this?
1.032. 0.508.
0.508 thanks Ashraf.
Mhm.
Okay. This one Ashraf have to divide with this. This one minus this one Ashraf got how much?
0.05 minus 0.032. 0.018.
0.018.
18.
Okay, then Ashraf divide this to this. How much you have, Ashraf?
28.26.
How much, Ashraf?
28.26.
28.26. Okay, all right. So, thank you, Ashraf. So that means this 28.26 is the price that we estimate for this company. That means when we value this company, we value the company per share is 28.26. That's why it's called stock valuation. So we value the stock at 28.26. Understand, eh? Okay. But then we cannot end here. We must compare this with the market price. We must compare this with the market price. Okay, because this is our estimation. This is the value that we estimate for the company, which is 28.26 cents per share. So remember, anything that we do is actually lead for the certain decision, right? So in this case, let's say for example, if we compute for investment decision, so that means we must compare 28.26 with what? With the market price. Okay, so this company is what company? Ajinomoto, right? So now what we are going to do, I'm going to look for the price of Ajinomoto from Bursa. Okay, so I'm looking for Bursa Malaysia price, Bursa Malaysia. Then I want to see the price for Ajinomoto. Okay, Ajinomoto. Okay, then okay, let's see how much is the price of Ajinomoto. Okay, this is the stock price, right? Now the stock price is based on latest closing is $12.60. $12.60. So that means this is my estimation, and the market price is $12.60. Okay, right? Now I value the stock at 28.26, but the current market price is 12.60. So what should I do? What should I do? Anyone? What should I do with my computation now? How should I decide? Ashraf, Ashraf nak buat apa? What you want to do, Ashraf?
We should buy the stock because
Yes,
under
good.
value.
Yes, thank you, Ashraf. So that means the stock is undervalued. The stock is undervalued. Why it's undervalued? Because I value it at 28.26. But currently the price is trading below my valuation, which is 12.60. Therefore, I may consider buying this company because there are a lot of margin here from 28.26 to 12, almost $14 per share that I can make profit. Understand? Okay, this is actually how that we use the dividend discount model for our investment decision. Right? So by showing to you the steps, first the D0 and then the G, but at this point, I just estimate the R at 5%. Okay? Later when we meet, I will explain to you how that we can get the actual R. Okay? So the intention here is actually to decide whether should we consider purchase this investment or not. So based on our valuation and based on the market price, we can see that, you know, there is a potential profit that can be made from this investment because the stock is undervalued. All right. Okay. Okay. Any question? Is it okay? Anyone? Before I proceed?
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask because the price just now,
Yeah.
the first price from the stock, I think this is from the like internal evaluation of the company, right?
The what?
I mean the first price.
The first
The
price.
price we just compute now, right? Yeah.
This is it this one?
Yeah, yeah,
Is it,
the 28.
this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
the 28. This is
Yeah.
the internal price of the company, right? Because it's based on the evaluation of the company assets, right?
Yeah, this one is actually the valuation of the company based on the model.
Based on the model. So
Based on the model, yeah.
so the second price is based on the market, or the market the price is not, sometimes not accurate. It's based on the demand and offer law, right?
Yeah, because this is the market price is actually what is being transacted based on demand and supply, right?
Yeah.
Based on demand and supply of the investors. So therefore this is the market price lah. It's transacted on the market. But then we want to know whether is this price is a correct price or not. Then when we perform the valuation based on the model, and we found that we valued the company at 26 at $28, right? So
Yes.
this $28 is actually based on the model that we believe is workable to value the stock. So this one is actually a theoretical price.
Oh, yeah, right.
But this one is the actual price. Okay. So because then we want to know what should we do. In order for us to decide on certain investment, we must value, right? So
Yes,
then
yes.
we make the valuation. So when we make the valuation, we found it, it's $28 lah, but now people are selling only 12. So therefore, we can consider this stock as one of the stock that we may consider buying, right? Because it's undervalued. Is it okay?
It's okay. Yes, doctor. Thank you.
Okay. Right, yeah. Okay, so that is the dividend discount model based on the constant growth. Why constant growth? Because if you look at this model, right, we only use 1G. How much is the G? 3.2%. That's all. We don't do any other, we don't have any other growth rate, only this. That's why it's called constant growth model. Yeah. Okay, so if you have no question, I move on to the second one. The second one is the non-constant. Right? Remember just now I explained to you. Okay, so this one we done constant growth. Okay, and I've explained to you how to get D1. Before D1, you must have D0. And then you must have G also. But as I said, for today's discussion, I just assume K at 5%. But when we meet, I will explain to you how to get the K. Okay, but before I forget, if you look at the notes here, okay, in these notes, you can see here, you see here, K minus G, right? The assumption here is G must be less than K. Okay, G must be less than K. So just now, we computed the G is 3.2%, right? That's why I put K more than G, because that is the condition for us to use this model. The required rate of return must be greater than the G, or in this case, G less than K. Okay, if G is more than K, you cannot use, this model doesn't work. So that's the assumption lah. Yeah. All right. Now we done on that one. Now the second one is we want to go to the non-constant. That means the company we assume will grow, but not at constant rate. Okay, how to value the stock? Okay, let's see here. Okay, let me give you one example. Okay, this one, this one, 45.08. You can refer to my notes here, non-constant. 45.08. Wait, non-constant. Okay. Valuing American Express, Pepsi. Okay, let's see Pepsi. Okay, let's see Pepsi. Okay, where is Pepsi here? Okay, I can close my Ajinomoto. Okay, then I can close this one. Okay, I want to concentrate on this one, this Pepsi. You see here, the price is estimated at 54.36. So here, so I can close this one. Okay, so here in this book, 54.36. Now in my notes also 54.36. Okay, I'm going to show you what does it mean. Okay, let's refer to. Okay, I can close this one. Okay, now let's refer to this book. Okay, it says like this. Okay, Pepsi is trading in the New York Stock Exchange. Now in 2012, Pepsi paid dividend to 15. In 2012, Pepsi paid dividend to 15. That means they already paid. Already paid means D0. Okay. Now, if you look at my Excel here, this is 2012, right? Yeah, this is 2012. See that? This is 2012. 2012. 2012 means now. In this example, it's mean now. So it's year zero. Year zero means now, right? And the company has paid dividend. You see here, 215. 215. Okay. Okay. And then it says here that analysts forecasted 4-year growth rate of 4.86% for Pepsi. Okay. That means we are here, right? We are here, right? We are now here, right? Okay. And the company has paid 215. And then it says that this company is expected to grow at 4.86%. How many years? 4 years. For 4 years. Okay, so that means this is 4.86%, right? 0.0, this is 4.86%, right? So it's going to grow at 4.86% for 4 years. So means year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. Understand? Okay, understand? So the company is going to grow at 4.86% for how many years? 4 years. Okay. And then it says here, okay, it says that a forecasted of 4-year growth rate of 4.6%. No, I think I have changed this. I think I have changed this. Not 4. Okay, I think I have changed this to, okay. The original is 5 years. The original is 5 years. 5 years. Okay. Can you later can you change it for me? Because you can see here 5. Okay. Wait, let me change it again. Okay, actually here, this one should be 4. It should be 5. Sorry for that. Okay, 5. Yeah, so 5-year growth rate. That means the company is expected to grow for 5 years. Well, how much is the rate? 4.86%. Understand? So if you look at my notes here, from year 1 until year 5, the company is expected to grow at 4.86% every year for 5 years. And then it says that after that, the company will grow. Okay, after that, the company will grow at 12.84%, meaning after the 4 years. Okay, can you change for me in your notes? Is now, this is 5. Okay, 5. Okay, that means after year 4, the company is going to grow at 12.84%. Understand, eh? Okay, so if you look at this, that means from year 1, you are now here in 2012, but from 2013 until here, 5 years, the company is going to grow at 4.6%. But after that, that means after year 5 means year 6 lah. The company is expected to grow at 12.84%. Okay, you see here, it says that 12.84%. Okay, now when you look at this, right, how many growth rate that you have? You have two growth rate, right? You have two growth rate. Number one is 4.86. Then after that, 12.84%. 12.84% is forever. Okay, that means you have two growth rate. Number one is 4.86%. Then after that, 12.84% constant. That's why it's called non-constant growth. Or in your textbook here, it says two-stage. Let me see here. See here, they use the word two-stage model. Why two-stage model? Because there are two growth rate. Number one is 4.86%. Then after that, the company will grow at 12.84% constant. That's why it's called non-constant growth or two-stage. Understand, eh? Just now, our G is only 1, right? 3.2. Here we have 2G. The first one is 4.86%. After that, it grows constant at 12.84. There's still a constant, but the constant will happen after certain years. Okay, understand, yeah? Okay. Now, how to value if there is this kind of growth rate, two growth rate? Okay. The first thing that you need to do is, the company has paid 215, right? And then you have the number. That means you have year 1, the company is going to grow at this rate, right? 0.486, right? Okay. So that means you multiply 2.15, you multiply with, remember the formula just now? D0 is 1 plus G, right? This is the formula, right? So what you need to do, 2.15 multiply with 1 plus G. G is 0.0486. So 1 plus G is 1.0486, right? Okay. So 2.15 multiply by 1.0486, then I get 2.25. Understand, eh? 2.25, I multiply with this, I get 2.36. 2.36 multiply with this, I get this. 2.48 multiply by this, I get this. 2.6 multiply by 4.6, I get this. Then after that, in year 6, because it's going to grow at 12.84, 2.73 multiplied by 1.12, I got 3.08. So I must do this computation because all this is my future dividend estimate. Understand, eh? Okay. Okay. Right. Now, after I have done that, okay, after I have done that, you are here, right? You are in year 0, right? And all this is actually in future. All this is actually in future, right? And you are here. You are here. All these are in future. And you already estimate the dividend. And the dividend for year 1 is this. Year 2 is this, and so on, right? You already estimated. So this is very important estimation lah. Okay, very important estimation, right? Okay. But then this number is actually future number, right? Because you are here, right? You are at this point. All these are in future. So in order for you to value this dividend is a cash flow, right? To value this dividend, you must make this number become now. Okay, you must make this number become now. So this number is future value, right? And to make it now, that means you must make it present. right? And you know, you have learned in finance, this is the value, this is the formula that you can apply, right? To make it the future value become present, right? Become now. So future value, present value is future value divided by 1 plus r to the power of n. This formula is not nothing new to you, right? So, okay, in another way, okay, you want to make your future value become present, right? So that means present value is future value divided by 1 plus I or R or G. Okay, let's say in this case I put G lah, to the power of N. So this is the formula lah for you to make your future value become present. So in this case, all this number, which is the future value, I must make it present, right? So how to make it present? I must divide this future value with a rate. So what rate? If you look at this formula, 1 plus G to the power of N, right? So that's why I got this number, because in this example, it says that, see here, okay, look at these notes. Okay, let me see again the Pepsi. Okay, it says here, assuming a 16% discount rate. Okay, discount rate here means the required rate of return. Another name for required rate of return is discount rate. So that means you need to discount the cash flow at 16%, because this 16% is the discount rate, or this 16% is the required rate of return. So therefore, okay, what we will do here is you need to discount this number with 1 plus G. So 1 plus G means 1 plus 16%, right? 0.16, understand? Okay, 0.16. But this one is in year 1, right? 16%. So plus 1 plus 16%, 0.16, right? 16%, Okay, that's why I got 1.16. Understand? Okay, because 16%. Okay, then this is in year 1. But when it becomes in year 2, 1.16 to the power of 2. Okay, 1.16 to the power of 2. Okay, that's why I have this 1.346. Understand? Okay, in this is year 3, right? 1.16 to the power of 3. Okay, 1.16. This is power 3. Oh no, 1.16 to the power of 3. See that? That's why I have this number. Okay, that's why I have this number. This number. See that? I hope you can follow. Understand? Okay, so I need to discount all these numbers. I need to discount my future cash flow with this discount rate, 1 plus discount rate, or 1 plus required rate of return. So when I divide this to this, I got this. Let me show you again. 2.25. Let me show you again. Okay, like this. 2.25. I divide with 1.16. See that? I got 1.94. Okay. Then 2.36. I divide with 1.757. Sorry. This is okay. 2.36. I divide with 1.346. Okay, that's how I get 1.757. Understand? Okay. Now, what does it mean? It means that 2.25 in year 1 is equivalent to 1.944 today. Understand? We learn the present value, time value of money, right? 2.36 in year 2 is equivalent to 1.757 today. 2.48 in year 3 is equivalent to 1.588 today. So today means today here, right? That's why I put all this number here. See that? because this is today, right? So 2.25 today is this. 2.36 today is this. It's the same, right? 2.48 today is this. 2.6 today is this. Okay, and then 2.73 today is this. Understand? Eh? So all this number, okay, wait. Okay, let me show you. Okay, all this number and this number, they are the same lah. Okay, because I make it today. So all this is actually today. All this is today. Okay, understand? Okay, so I do that until, meaning I do that because it says in this note, it says that the company is going to grow at 4.86 for 5 years, right? So I do this for 5 years because it says for 5 years. Understand? Okay, done. Okay. Then in this example, it says that the company is going to grow constant in year 6 onwards. In year 6 onward. Okay, in year 6 onward, it's going to grow constant. Now, when I have that information, okay, when I have that information, then I have to look at again this formula. Remember just now, when I explained to you this formula, P0 is D1 K minus G, right? Okay. Why D1? Because in our example, it's going to grow constant from year 1 onwards, right? But in this example, it's going to grow constant from year 6 onward. So that means you need to do like this. If the company is going to grow constant in year 6, that means you are talking about P5. D6. D6 over K minus G. Understand? Understand? Why P5? Because the company is going to grow constant from year 6 onwards. But let's say if the company is going to grow constant from year 4 onwards, then P3. Understand? Okay, so because this one, the company is going to grow constant from year 6 onward, then we are talking about P5. Okay, so in this formula, P5, okay, P5, why P5? Because in this example, the company is going to grow constant in year 6 onwards. So that's why I have P5. But to have P5, I must have D6. You can look at this formula. P0, you need D1. But for P5, you need D6. All right. And you already have dividend in year 6. This is the dividend in year 6, right? So how much is the dividend in year 6? Dividend in year 6 is 3.08, right? Okay, that's why I have 3.08 here. Understand? Okay, that's why I have 3.08 here. Okay, 3.08 here. Right. Now, remember in your formula, P0 is D1K minus G. So that means you need to apply the same formula. P5 is D6. D6, right? K minus G. How much is the K? K is 16%, right? In this example, discount rate 16%. Okay, how much is the G? Then you see the constant growth rate. So the constant growth rate here means 12.84%, right? Look at this. Okay, it says that the company is going to grow constant 12.84%. So that's why you need to divide P5 with K minus G. So your G is no longer 4.86. Your G is the constant. That's why you have to do this, like this one. Like this one. Understand? So 3.08, you divide with this number, then you will get 97.33. Okay, so what is 97.33? 97.33 is P5. Understand? P5. So where is P5? P5 means price in year 5. Okay, so that means your P5 is here lah. Because this is year 5, right? So P5 is 97.33. Understand, eh? Okay. So 97.33 is the price in year 5. But how are you going to make it, to bring it here now? You must divide exactly like the one, exactly like what you did. 2.1 divided with 2.73 divided with 2.1, right? Okay. Okay, that means in this case, you need to divide 9.73 divided by 1.16 to the power of 5, right? To make it present. That's why you have 46.34. Understand, eh? Okay. So this 46.34 is actually today, right? Today. Because you already bring it now. Okay, so after that, that means you already have this number. And then you already bring the P5 today. Then when you add all this, then you will get 54.36, which is the same as this one. Okay, so that means this company, which is the based on the non-constant growth rate, first 5 years is this, and then followed by this. Okay, when you follow all these steps, that means the company is going to be valued at 54.36 today. Okay, so this is the example that I can give you lah based on the text. So you can follow these steps again, right? And you can apply to the rest of the example here. Okay, you can apply to the rest of the example here. Let's say, for example, here you have American Express, and then you also have other company. Okay, American Express. Let's say, for example, American Express, you can have in my notes here. Okay, this is Pepsi. This is Pepsi. Okay, non-constant. This is American Express. Okay. Now, in this American Express, for example, okay, let's see here. It says that this company, in 2012, they pay dividend 80 cents. Dividend 80 cents. Then analysts forecast 5 year, they are going to grow at 10.54%. Then after that, they are going to grow at 13.21% constant. So you see here, 10.54% until year 5, and then 13.21 constant. All right. So I will compute my dividend in year 1. So this is my dividend in year 1. Or this is my dividend in year 1, right? Until year 6, based on the growth rate. Then I discount it. Okay. So that means I discount it according to the cash flow. So how much is the K? The discount rate is 15%. So this is my dividend. This is dividend, future dividend, divided by 1.15 to the power of 1. I got this number. See that? This number. Okay. This number. See that? Okay. Right. And then after that, this is my P5. I make it today. So the value of this company is 20.22 today. So if you do like this is basically for the non-constant growth. Right. Any question? Anyone? Anyone? You have any question?
No, doctor.
No, is it okay? It's clear, right?
Prof.
Yes, please.
For the Pepsi one, for the final answer, I just missed the final answer. How do you get the 50 and something?
Okay, you mean the Pepsi, right? So
Yes, Pepsi.
okay, this you mean this one, is it? Is it 52.31?
Yes.
Okay, now this 52.31 is the sum for this. See that? This is all the cash flow, right? Present. So I just add the sum. I make it total sum. See that? Okay, is it okay?
For
So
the 44 44.19 is the price for year.
44.19.
Yeah, it's the discounted price, right?
Okay, 44.19. P4 is this, right?
Yes.
Okay, P4 is this. So now this 92.82, when is this value? Can you tell me the year? When is it? Can you tell me 92.82? When is this? Is the P4, right? In which year it happened?
2016.
No, 92.82. That is a P4, right? Understand?
Yes.
Okay, I ask you one question. This 92.82, which year it happened? Which year that this 92.82 takes place? Which
Year
year?
4.
Yes, year 4. Are you in year 4 or you are now?
Year 0. Yeah.
Yes. So how to make this 92.82 in year 4 to become now? You need to discount it, right?
Yeah.
So 92.82, how to discount it? 92.82 divided by, okay, how much is the discount rate? Discount rate is 16%, right?
Yes.
1.16 to the power of 1.16 to the power of 4, right? Because in year 4. That's why you have, see that? That's why you have 51 point. Okay. This is 92. Wait, P4. Oh, no. Not that. 92.82 divided by 0.16K, right? Minus G. How much is G? 0.1284. Constant, right?
Yes.
No, wait. What is this? Okay, 44, 92.82. 92.82. I7. Okay, I7. How much is I7? 2.1. Okay, that means 2.1
sir.
is
We
one
divide
point was
by
wait, let me explain. 92.12 divided by 1.16 to the power of to the power of 5. Okay, 92.82 is the price of the stock in year 4, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and that happened in year 4. Okay, but we want to make it present. So that means 1.14, but that means 92.82 divided by 1.16 to the power of
5.
why 5? Because this one is
Maybe it's a P5.
yeah. This is P5, right? Yeah, no, because remember I changed in my notes just now. So this one is actually P5
P5.
because it's going to get constant in year 6, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think this one is we didn't do this one, right? We do this one. This one. I
Yes,
think I
this
better close the other way, confuse you. Okay, I remove this one. The one actually this one, right? So how do we get P5? D6, right? P5 if D6 K minus G, right?
Yes.
Okay, so P5 D6 K minus G, I got this. Okay, so this one is in year 5. But I want to make it present. So that means this number, I must divide with 1.16 to the power of 5, right? So when I divide 1.16 to the power of 5, I got 46.34 because this is in year 5, right? So 97.33 now is 46.34. So to get all this cash flow now, I add it. I got 54.36. Yeah. Is it okay?
Okay.
So
Thank you.
what you can do is you can try for your valuing American Express. So if you value American Express, it says here the company will grow constant from which year? It's going to grow constant. Okay, it's going to grow. Okay, it's going to forecast for 5-year growth and then 10.54% constant. Okay, that means from year 1 until year 5, there is a rate 10.54. After that, constant. Constant at what rate? Constant at 13.21. So you need to see when the company grow constant. When the company grow constant, then you must apply this. If the company grow constant in year, the company grow constant in year 6, like this one, right? So your D6, right? So that means your D6 means P5. Remember, D1 means P0. So D6 means P5. That's why you have a P5 here. Can you have P7, P6? No, you cannot have P6 because you can only have P6 if the company grow constant from year 7. So you have to read the wording carefully lah. Is it okay? Is it clear? Any other question? Anyone? Any other question? Muhammad, ada question tak? Anyone? Do you have any other question? Is it okay? All? Everybody?
Yes,
Clear?
Prof.
Yeah. So you can try using you can just change the number. But what is important is when does the company grow constant for the 2 stage? If the company grow constant in year 3, so what are you going to do? You have to have P what? Afika, if the company is going to grow constant in year 3, Afika, what are you going to have, Afika? P? Afika?
P2.
Yes. Okay, if the company is going to grow constant in P3, then you must have P2. So how to get P2? D3 over K minus G. Understand? Very simple. If the company is going to grow constant in year 7, meaning year 1 until year 6 certain rate, then constant in year 7. So that means you are going to have P. Talha,
P6.
P what? Yes, P6. Then the
P6.
rest, yes, the rest is going to be the same. That's the only trick it has. That's all. The rest is the same. Is it okay? Okay, so inshallah when I meet you next week for other classes, then I will show you on how to get K, because it's difficult for me to, it's not effective for me to explain K based on online lecture. But this one inshallah I can show you. But for the K I need to draw the certain diagram and so on. So I will explain to you how to get K. So that means in your exam there are 2 versions. Either K is given or K you have to compute. But of course D you have to look for your own lah. That means D you have to work on your own. G you have to work on your own, because I've shown you just now, right? How to get D, how to get G. Okay, when it comes to K, the K may be given, or the K you must compute on your own. Okay, so the K can be computed using another model. That's why I don't want to show it today. It's another model. The model is called Capital Asset Pricing Model, CAPM. So what is CAPM? That is the model to compute K. Okay, so what is dividend discount model, DDM? That is the model to compute price. Understand? Okay, so this topic of stock valuation is actually a combination of two model. Number one is, of course, the dividend discount model. But in the dividend discount model, you have a K, right? So how to get K? K can be computed using a model. What model? For capital asset pricing model. Inshallah, when I meet next week face to face, I will explain to you how to get K using capital asset pricing model. So when you know how to compute K using capital asset pricing model, when you use dividend discount model, actually you combine both DDM and CAPM. Right, yeah? Okay, so if you have no question, I think that's all for tonight. Inshallah, I will meet you again next week face to face. So today I have to make it online because some of you not well. Okay, and there is a request, but inshallah next week I will meet you face to face, inshallah. Okay, anything else? Is it okay?
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, inshallah. We meet next week, yeah? Okay, assalamualaikum. Yeah, assalamualaikum. Thank you all.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much,
Waalaikumsalam.
Doctor.
Okay.